Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP family. Appreciate all the love. Let's waste no more time and take a look at what's happening with XRP going into Sunday morning. Speaking about Sunday morning, if you're looking across the board right now, we're seeing a lot of green across the board. Again, as far as the weekend is concerned, we're seeing a great price action. I'm sure no one's really complaining. Even if you're looking at the last 1 hour, we have seen the price of Bitcoin finally being able to break above the $112,000, which of course I'll touch on a little later in this update. But if you're looking at XRP, it's up 4.2% on the daily time frame. But if you're looking at it over the last few days, up 13%. Crazy price movements for XRP right now, with the price currently sitting at almost $2.66 as we're recording this update, up 4% on the Bitcoin side of things as well. The valuation approaching 160 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about 3.2 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So follow me on X, by the way, guys. I posted this on X. Follow me if you have not done so already. And also let me know in the comments if you are noticing a big difference as far as audio quality is concerned, because I have, just completely gotten a brand new setup. So let me know if you guys are noticing a big difference. But look at the $7.4 trillion is sitting in the money market funds right now. That's record liquidity just waiting to move somewhere. When this capital starts flowing, market will melt up. If you know, you know. Not financial advice, of course, but pretty much what this means is, there's a lot of money parked into, lower risk, like if it's like lower risk, I think treasury, these certificates, if you understand, like, the low risk things that people can get their hands onto, and earn something off of it a little bit, and about 7.5 trillion almost is parked in the money market funds right now. So imagine, when do we see more interest rates cuts happening, I think this is going to start pulling down, and this could potentially flow into not only just the stock market but crypto as well. But take a look at this, funding rates turned negative. This usually helps. This usually happens at bottoms. So pretty much what this means is, the funding rates right now is negative, and every time this happens, we are getting closer to the downside, and the market is getting ready to pick up. And obviously, if you kind of look into the Bitcoin price action and the overall market price action, you know what has been happening. But take a look at this. All eyes on the Fed decision plus Powell in focus. So obviously, Wednesday, October 30th is when this event is going to take place, with limited U.S. data due to the government shutdown. Markets are pricing in a 25 BPS rate cut and slightly, dovish tone, possibly signaling an end to quantitative QT. So rate cut, probability 98.3% right now. Again, pretty much set in stone, and I think market hasn't priced in, but maybe market is picking up now. If you're looking at the last 1 hour, even, we are, seeing a market upside, and even over the last 3 days, price of Bitcoin has been able to remain within the 23.6 fib zone, which gives me an indication that, market is getting ready for the FOMC meeting. So we'll see what happens. Take a look at this though. Your daily reminder that low volumes means sudden volatility is possible. Not financial advice, just a warning. XRP volume is very low. True value is not clear right now. I totally agree. Even though the volume is low compared to what we have usually seen it at, yet the price is looking really, really good. So that is a key factor that, we don't really want to be ignoring right now when we're analyzing not just XRP, but anything at this point. And it has held its ground quite nicely. But take a look at this. XRP open interest just reset again. XRP's open interest on Binance has dropped back to the same lows as we saw in May 2025. Back then, the flush kicked off a massive move from 70 cents to $3.50. This time, OI is at the floor again, but price is still holding around $2.60. That means leverage is gone, yet strong hands are still holding. If new liquidity comes in, this setup could easily flip into the next leg up. Low leverage, strong spot demand, and trapped shorts. That's how rallies usually start. And remember, I've indicated this to you guys on the channel before. The low volume is not always a bad thing as long as the price is stabilizing. That's exactly what the price of XRP was doing prior to this move towards the upside, which is something we're obviously going to touch a little bit more onto as we do go further into this update. But Brad Gerlinghouse is, the major catalyst behind, bringing in that spark once again, saying time to lock in and pretty much solidifying that, XRP is always going to be the centerpiece. That itself is the biggest thing that you could hear. And that's coming from the CEO himself, which obviously brought in a lot of interest. Maybe people that were on sideline that have obviously gotten in maybe due to that. That's obviously like, usually happening when you do see the likes of, the CEO who has obviously a lot of eyes on him. In terms of like what he says and everything. And when he says something like that about XRP, obviously it's going to bring in attention, and it did, in my opinion. But take a look at this. David Sachs said this, President Trump has made an excellent choice in Mike Selig to lead the CFTC. And look what, Banks XRP points out. President Trump's pick of Mike Selig, a win for crypto innovation inside regulation. Mike also followed the SEC, and the Ripple case. He is very familiar with Ripple and XRP. So again, puzzle pieces pretty much aligning on that aspect. But I really wanted to share this with you guys, what Jen says. In 10, 20, 30 years, we will look back and realize that 2025 was a pivotal year. What does this mean? And look what Raoul Pal says, agreed. So, pretty much what this is kind of reflecting is that this year is different. In the future, we're going to kind of look back and see that, the cycle is broken. And that's what the conversation is this time around. Everyone is talking about the cycle. 4-year cycle, is it no longer valid? That's the question that everyone has. No one really knows. Obviously, if you want to minimize your risk, again, no one can promise you that next year, no one, I promise you, no one can promise you that next year is indeed guaranteed that, the super cycle begins. There's still that uncertainty aspect, but of course, understand where the speculation aspect is coming. Even I've said that on the channel before that, obviously we've never seen this much happening for the crypto space before in the history of crypto. So again, we'll see as time goes by, but next year, 2026 is a big year. Not only is it going to tell us whether or not it's a super cycle, but again, it would be a pivot moment for the entire space if we do re-enter. If we do break out of the 4-year cycle, which again would be very interesting. But take a look at this. Get ready for Swell 2025 in New York. Never have there been so much private sector participants among the speakers at Swell. Big things are coming. Traditional finance is ready to implement crypto assets, and you could see some big players there, guys. You name it, they're there. Nasdaq, BNY, Franklin Templeton, Citi, BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, Chase, MasterCard, and so on, so forth. Let's take a look at what's happening with the price right now. So let's give it a refresh live for the dominance right now. Dominance is sitting at about 59.74%, trying to break towards the downside right now, as we could see for ourselves. We want to see the dominance, pulling down to, where it was just a few days back. That would be quite a big start. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, Bitcoin was having a hard time breaking out at $112,000. You could see finally broke out of that key range, came up to almost $113,000. And again, if we close our daily candle here around this range going into Monday morning, I think that would be an amazing, amazing start. And a lot can still end up happening before the month comes to an end. So the monthly close is something obviously I'm paying attention to. And like I said, a lot can still end up happening. But XRP is on an absolute tear. Level that we talked to you guys about last night at $2.70 could be a very, very near target, from where we currently are. But let's take a look at XRP's price right now. Absolutely amazing stuff. We're retesting October 13th level. We actually broke above that key range. We came up to $2.66 just a few hours back. But again, $2.70, major target to be looking out for. Breaking above that takes us back to where we were prior to this retracement. So it's gonna feel like this never really ended up happening. So price of XRP is looking amazing right now. Again, if you want to put this into perspective from where we were just 4 days back at $2.33. Since then, the price is up 15% right now, looking amazing. I do expect that $2.70 to be the next level to be retested in the next few hours to come. That's only about a 2.39% move from where we currently are. Hopefully today, Sunday, we break above of that as far as the close is concerned, because I think this coming week we could actually see the price go back into the 23.6 like we've never left. So amazing setup here for XRP. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Love each and every one of you guys. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX and